Why is important, first of all, social media marketing for hotels, and how we define doing it right?
Taking it to the next level means finally admitting that social media is not an accessory to your marketing strategy. It is the strategy. The next level means running social media like you run your revenue management. 80% of your guests are making decisions about you before they even go to your website, if at all they ever even go to your website.
If you go to a hotel and you love the experience, then guess what? Where are you going to share it? Well, with everyone on social.
Is identity. People just don't buy rooms. They buy status. They buy a lifetime. They buy belonging. That's why exclusivity always works.
Welcome everyone to this new session here in Hotel Marketing Lounge. Today I'm so honored to have a special guest that we're going to talk about everything about travel, hospitality, social media, influencer marketing. So I cannot wait to have this conversation. Let me introduce you to Mr. Scott Eddy, who is a wealth of knowledge. Welcome, Scott.
Hi. This is long overdue.
Yes, finally, we're making this happen. Thank you so much for making this time to be with us today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. So I think for those that don't know Scott yet, I think it's going to be great if you can introduce yourself. But let me tell you guys, Scott is one of the top 15 hospitality influencers in the world. So he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to hotel marketing, travel, social media. So without further ado, I let you introduce yourself.
Well, let me just tell you a little bit about my background. I come from the investment banking world. I did that for 10 years. And then I went on a trip to Thailand that changed my life. I bought a 2-week ticket and never used a return ticket. I ended up living in Bangkok for 11 years. And when I went there in January of 99, it was a few years before social media. Then when social media came out, I started the first digital agency in Asia, and we were the biggest for 5 years. So all my clients were hotels. That's where I learned the whole industry. I didn't know anything about the industry before. Um, and yeah, so we did the first wave of crazy hotels in Bali, and we did the Western casinos enter in Macau, and we did everything in the Thai islands. So it was a whirlwind because that was when Southeast Asia was exploding. And then I sold the agency, built up my personal brand. I ended up living in Europe and Asia for 17 years and came back to the States in 2015. And when I came back, that's when social media really was getting mature and people were investing and they had budgets and everything like that. So I was approached and I became the first TV host for the first travel series on Lifetime TV, which is a big network here in the US. And the pandemic killed that, but that was a great experience. And and now I'm based in Miami in between all my trips, but I sold everything that I owned 12 years ago. So even when I'm here, I'm staying in a hotel right now. So, I'm here for like a few days and then I leave. And
That's
so I do this
amazing.
full time.
Wow, love it. So tell me a little bit more about how was that transition from being a banker to moving into hospitality, which is a completely different industry. So what made you move away from numbers into like hospitality and taking care of people and service?
So the reason I left was they sold my firm that I was working at, and a lot of people resigned. And the guy who sat next to me, his best friend was a expat who worked in Bangkok. And every time he used to come visit Florida, we used to hang out, drinks and dinner, and we became really good friends. And he always used to tell me to come visit him in Thailand. But I work 90 hours a week. I can't take a 24-hour flight to the other side of the planet. So after I left, he called me the next day and he's like, come over and you got to come over here now. And the reason I started the agency is because when I went over there, I didn't do anything for the first 4 or 5 years. And then I really wanted to stay overseas. I was happy and I was looking for a reason to stay. So and the only thing I knew how to do was sell. So all my friends, families owned hotels. and I know how to sell. So the natural progression was a marketing agency targeting
Perfect.
hospitality.
Yeah.
The transition from dealing with, in finance and investment banking, it's a horrible industry because the only thing that matters is how much you make, how much you raise. That's it. The
Yeah.
people are terrible. Now I work with the greatest people in the world. I make 10% of what I used to make, but I work with the greatest people in the world. So that's enough for me.
It's more rewarding, right?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, it's the best people in the world are in hospitality. This is
Oh,
why I constantly talk about the talent gap and how
oh yes,
employee culture is so important and treat these people right because they're the greatest people in the world. Why wouldn't you want to keep them? You saw what
absolutely.
the pandemic did. The pandemic showed the hospitality industry, okay, you treated me like garbage long enough. I'm leaving the industry. Now they won't come back. I know so many people that worked in hospitality for 10, 20 years that left during the pandemic that will never come back because it's such
Wow.
a toxic culture. Obviously, not
Exactly.
everywhere, but the majority.
Yeah. Which is
And it's a
really
shame.
sad. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you and I have been long enough in this industry, and I remember when I first started, like your boss was shouting in your face. Not to talk, not even to mention the chefs, right? But the industry was very toxic. I think it's now nice to see how there's more wellness put in place. More taking care of the people itself. Because at the end of the day, it's like an industry where like you lead with your heart, right? We're all
You
about
have to.
people. We are about human
Correct.
connection.
Correct.
Uh, but I think it's essential to take care of each other, especially in this industry.
Yeah.
And talking about the talent gap, because I've been seeing some of your recent posts that you've been talking about that topic, which I think it's a hot topic, and not many brands are talking about it, to be honest. And especially, well,
Of
in
course
my case,
not.
I've been working with global brands, which is fantastic, but there's always a flip side, right? So I think I really love like what you're doing, like bringing light to this huge topic.
I got news for you. Do you know how many? So you see, I'll get, I don't know, 100, 200 comments every time that I talk about the toxic employee culture and things like that. Do you know I get twice as many DMs from people that work for these big companies that can't comment in public because they're
I
afraid to get
can,
fired? It's
yes, yeah,
unbelievable. It's
and
it's
it's really
mind
sad.
blowing to me.
Exactly.
That's how I
Well,
know it's the majority of the industry. That's how I know.
exactly. Which is sad and it's concerning because even I
So
remember when
sad.
I was here in the Maldives in the pandemic, I remember seeing the face like so much fear, because they really wanted to leave, but they were so scared of lose their income. And it's just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's really sad. And even regardless of the size of the company, as you mentioned, it's like, yes, sometimes you feel that, oh, you are not allowed to talk because you never know if there's going to be any repercussions or not, and then you end up being in a place that is toxic, you don't enjoy it, and that's not the idea. It's not healthy.
I know somebody who made a comment publicly who works for a very big company in hospitality, and his boss saw him and reprimanded him
Wow.
in
Wow.
public in front of all the other employees.
Wow.
It's
that's
unbelievable. It's
that's sad.
it's it's actually shocking. It's actually
Yeah,
shocking that we're in 2025 and still dealing with this. Like, how do you not know how to deal with employees? Like, treat them like
yeah,
humans. You should treat your
absolutely.
employees as good as you treat the guests because it's a trickle down. The better you treat your employees, the better they're going to treat the guests. The better you pay
Exactly.
your employees, like treat them right, pay them right. Come on, it's a joke.
And I think exactly, and I think it's so many times I can see a lot of brands that they say that, oh yeah, we are proud to have these values, this culture, whatever. Yes, for the guest, but then when you are in the inside, it's completely different. So you need to have this consistency because at the end of the day, I think it's not a retention problem. I think it's like how do you take care of your staff? Because it's not a skills. Anyone can learn any skills, but at the end of the day, it's like the attitude, how you feel, when you are on this environment, working with your colleagues, how they make you feel. That's what makes you stay.
100%, 100%. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think we collectively should be thinking about it more often and bringing front and center to address this current situation?
Getting the leaders to treat their employees like human beings instead of like slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not boot camp. You are in the hospitality business. Treat your employees hospitable. Like
Yeah.
treat them with kindness.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
not
absolutely.
difficult. It's an easy formula. You treat
Yeah.
them good, you pay them good, they treat the guests good. The guests get treated good, the guests come back. Like it's a full circle.
Loyalty, yeah, exactly. It's a
Irresistible.
full circle. Yeah, yeah. No, it's absolutely. And
And
the
I
things
and
that
I
what
love and I love when owners they come back and say, "Oh well, I can't pay my employees anymore. We don't make enough money." Well, close. If you can't afford to do it right, close.
then just close the doors. Don't do
So,
hospitality anymore.
so you mean to tell me that you have enough money to open a hotel, to design a hotel, to pay top management what they should be paid, kinda, and you don't have the money to pay the rest of the staff, but you have enough money to keep the hotel going? Like, come on. I was
That's a
born at
joke.
night, not last night. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's something that really need to address, like, and regardless of what the size, right? You don't need to be a global brand to have your values, and I think that the culture is something that it's built every day, and you don't need to be on a position of being a decision maker, because it's, for me, especially in this industry, culture is everywhere, right? It doesn't matter what's your hierarchy or your role or whatever. It's just like come from like tiny gestures, and something that I really love is, I don't know if you know this book, from Will Guidara, Unreasonable Hospitality, which is fantastic when it comes to building teams, and especially him coming from F&B side. I think
Yeah,
that book is a must read for everyone in this industry.
yep. I agree. I 100% agree. He is I've never heard anything that he said that was even 1% wrong. Everything he
Yes,
says is spot on.
yes, it's so fantastic. I think it's like moving on into, because I know that you've been in the cruise ship industry for a really long time and hotels as well. So how did you, because you were saying previously you moved from finance to hospitality and travel and to marketing. So tell me a little bit more, how do you get into social media marketing specifically for hotels and the travel industry?
So when I started the digital agency, obviously digital was very different back then when social first came out. Back then it was build my website, graphic designer, SEO, building mobile apps, that sort of thing for the first few years. And then people started to invest in social media, but it wasn't in the beginning. It was
Yeah.
just a natural progression. I mean, me, I was a very early adopter on everything. I was probably first few thousand people on Twitter. And
Wow.
I, what really made my name in the social media space was I was the first American expat in any Asian country to have 1 million followers on Twitter, which
Wow.
back then it was like headline news in Asia, in every Asian country, which got me speaking gigs, which got me consulting gigs, which got me, and it just steamrolled from there. But I just know, I knew back then and I still know today that it's the main pipeline of communication. Um, I mean, there's nothing more immediate. There's nothing that can bring you ROI like social media done right. And I'm not just talking about, beautiful pool shots or beautiful food shots, or, it has to be humanized. The good
Absolutely.
thing that the pandemic did was it made shaky videos with the phone okay. And
Exactly.
I got news for you. I've done
Yeah.
the Maldives twice, and I've worked with two different brands there. And I mean, it's really impossible to take a bad picture there. Like it's just so beautiful everywhere you look. It's almost too much content. Like it's overwhelming. Like I went there with Chris the last time, Chris and his wife. Chris was so overwhelmed the first 2 days because you don't have a game plan of what you want to shoot. You're dead,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's just every view is beautiful, every villa is beautiful, every dish is beautiful. It's too much. So,
Yeah.
you know, I I the time that I went there before with him was my first time there, and I went with 3 videographers. So, I mean,
Wow.
we made, like, really fancy, unbelievable, high quality, highly polished videos, but I got news for you, the best ones that I did were the ones with my phone, that were just like me walking with
Exactly.
I mean I mean, listen, there's always a place for those
Yes.
fancy, beautiful videos. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm just saying that you need to humanize your content in the middle of that. You need
Of
to have people in there. You got to have real stuff. You got to talk like a human, like everything cannot be scripted.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's like, I love what you mentioned, social media done right. Because I think that's something that's very important. And actually, I just recently did a post about how to actually track ROI and how to measure. How will you describe why it's important, first of all, social media marketing for hotels, and how will you define doing it right? Which is, we all know it's not just posting nice photos on social.
So if you ask the question, like, what does it mean to take hotel social media marketing to the next level, right? Taking
Yeah,
it to the next level means finally admitting that social media is not an accessory to your marketing strategy. It is the strategy.
exactly.
And you do need to invest in it. You do need full-time people. And these full-time people cannot have 15 other job responsibilities. And oh yeah, by the way, post when you get a chance. You can't do that. That is not the way it's done. Hotels still treat it like it's a place to drop pretty pictures of rooms and pools every now and then.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
next level means running social media like you run your revenue management. You don't guess.
Absolutely.
You don't post just to post. You build systems. You test relentlessly. You watch the analytics. You rely on the analytics. And you tie everything back to actual bookings and loyalty. The
Absolutely.
hotels winning right now are the ones who treat their Instagram and TikTok feeds as their number one storefront. Because the reality is 80% of your guests, 80%, and I probably am lowballing that number. 80% of your guests are making decisions about you before they even go to your website, if at
Oh,
all
100%.
they ever even go to your website.
Exactly.
If your social media doesn't look alive, authentic, and irresistible, you're lost. You're
You're
done.
done. Yes. Yes. Especially nowadays. And I think it's something that I keep seeing, like so many hotels, especially when I start working with the team, it's like, okay, what's your social media strategy? What's your social media plan? And exactly what you just mentioned is like, oh yeah, I post like once or twice a week. And it's like, okay, why? What's the reason behind it? And I think the most important part is, yes, understanding. Yes, why you need to do it in social, because as you say, well, all your guests are on social, potential guests, right? And social is essential. We are human beings, right? So we like to interact with people, and that's where exactly people, if you go to a hotel and you love the experience, then guess what, where are you going to share it? Well, with everyone on social, right? So not even like potential guests are not even thinking about traveling, but the fact that they saw a friend sharing, oh, look at where I was, and say, oh, I actually not thinking to
Right,
travel, but
right, right.
that place is so cool, so I think is we just kind of need to understand that, yes, the social psychology, I would say, behind social media, because I think that's most important, rather than the kind of content that you post, is like what's the logic behind it.
So you bring up the psychological side. Travel is identity. People just don't buy rooms. They buy status. They buy a lifetime. They buy belonging. That's why exclusivity always works. That's why private clubs and luxury brands thrive in downturns. Guests want to feel like they're part of something bigger.
Something.
So when you create social content, stop thinking, what do I need to sell? Start thinking about what's the story that
Yeah,
my ideal guest wants to tell about themselves. If you can make them feel like staying at your hotel says something about who they are, you won. That's the
absolutely.
psychology.
Absolutely. How they would feel when they're there. And I think that's like lifestyle content is so important, but also it's a great point what you mentioned before. You want it to be relatable, not to be overdone to a point that it's not aspirational, but it feels like unreachable. So it's not realistic. So it still needs to have that connection and that feeling, oh, how would I feel if I'm in that resort or in that room or in that restaurant or wherever it is.
Correct.
And I think also something that I've noticed as well, especially well nowadays with AI, it's like so many hotels and resorts are missing out on the power of social selling, like using, for example, something that I've tried with a few resorts is like the power of the DMs, automations, right? So instead of posting photos or reels with no action, it's like actually, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to engage? Do you want it to take them to a landing page and start a whole conversation? Because at the end of the day, that's how you take people away from social to actually potentially become like a buyer, like become a potential guest. And I actually did a try for 3 months for one property, and it was outstanding. I just was blown away for the numbers. It's like, honestly, we tried for 3 months. These we use many chats to, it's like you comment the keyword and then the whole conversation started on the DMs. And the amount of DMs that we receive in that property and the traffic to the website, and I think they receive like more than 50 bookings in a month direct
Oh, wow.
from social into the website.
Nice.
And it was just like, a trial. But I think like so many hotels are leaving money on the table because they just treat social as oh yes, an afterthought, rather than as a proper channel where people will come and book direct. Plus they save on commissions as well, because that's what everyone wants, right?
It's really funny. Hotels, especially hotels, not so much destinations and cruise lines, but hotels especially, they move so slow that when TikTok first came out, okay, I don't want to go on TikTok because it's all 12-year-olds dancing. All right, well, everything starts young. Facebook started as 20-year-olds that were in college. And now grandparents are on there, and it's the best ROI that a Facebook ad is gold ROI these days because they're the people that have money. And
Exactly.
now the fastest growing demographic on TikTok is 48 to 57.
Oh wow.
But like, this is every single platform does this. So what
It's
would be
crazy.
the difference? Like, that would be like, why am I marketing my car to a 14-year-old? She's not old enough to drive, but she will be.
Exactly.
I just don't understand. Like, and then when they do realize, okay, it's time for me to get on TikTok. Well, why aren't I growing? Because you missed the growth phase because you didn't want to get in early.
Yeah.
And then they get upset and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. I did one post and it didn't do anything.
One post exactly. It's like, what are
Like,
you
do
expecting?
you these people don't realize, like, if you're on YouTube and Mr. Beast is obviously the top YouTuber, right? Do
Yeah.
you know that he said this publicly that collectively his first 100 videos did not reach 10,000 views collectively?
Wow. But it was
Collectively.
learning, right? I can
I
imagine
mean,
it was learning.
nobody uploads their first thing and gets a million views. Nobody.
Of course.
So why does a hotel think that they're any different?
Absolutely. And I think it's just this perception that, oh, I'm a failure if I don't have thousand of views or like heaps of followers. And I can keep saying this, especially well in this destination in the Maldives, right? If you don't have 1 million followers on Instagram, you're a failure. And it's just like, well, do you want 1 million followers that are actually zombies that they would never
Right.
purchase anything from you, or you prefer to have less, more engaged potential buyers? Because that's something is like so many people get blind and it's just like, oh yeah, I want to get more followers, and it's like, but why? Do you even need more followers? Just like nail the foundations first.
Right.
And I think it's like my question to you would be, for example, because I know that, well, two things. So I know first of all how lean hotel marketing teams are, and sometimes social tends to be like overlooked, or even like they say they give it to a coordinator or someone that never ever been on social before. So what would be your recommendation for a lean marketing team that they need to take, social media seriously?
I would say they need to find somebody who's willing to learn and put in the work to learn, because
Mhm.
putting somebody in there that is not going to learn every day. I mean, listen, I've been in this business since social media came out. I've literally been doing this for 16 years.
Wow.
I'm still watching YouTube 2 to 3 hours every day trying to learn.
Of course.
Every
Always
single day,
learning.
7 days a week. So if I'm doing it, why is it too good for an employee of a hotel?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The problem is, it's not that they have people that don't know. The problem is because the way they have their employee structure, and like you say, they're lean because it's structured the wrong way. They have the
Oh
wrong
yeah.
people in the wrong positions. They need somebody full time who can just concentrate on learning, engaging, posting, creating content. Like, that needs to be the foundation.
Absolutely.
It needs to
Yes.
be the foundation. Listen, I do workshops. I go into hotels where, and I do a fun workshop, whereas I'll go in for a week, right? And the day I get there, we'll do like a 4 hour workshop, social media workshop. And it's like very, very much like aggressive. Like, you're learning so much, you're just a sponge. You're just learning everything. And then I'm doing an audit of your current social media and I'm showing you what you're doing wrong. And
Yeah.
then during that workshop, I'm showing you how to do it right. And then I do the influencer thing where I stay and I engage with your property
That's
to
amazing.
basically grade how you're doing. And then at the end, we do another mini workshop and I showed you what you did right and what you did wrong.
That's fantastic. So you learn by example and by actually doing it.
Exactly. And you're
Yeah.
there, right in front of you.
Yes, that's fantastic. That's amazing. And I think that's the way we should be going in hospitality, because with so many global brands, I'm sick of seeing that, 10,000 million of trainings for operational people. And I say, guys, if there is one single department that needs to be absolutely learning every single day, that is marketing, then where are the trainings? Where are the people that really understand how it works in the
Right.
hospitality industry? Because especially me, when I have to hire an agency, it's so hard to find someone that understands the industry, because so many times they come and say, oh yeah, we'll give you the moon, whatever. And I said, like, you don't even know how to run a hotel, just don't waste my time. Oh yeah. And I says like, and I don't trust, someone that don't know on the industry to train my team, because it's like, what do you know about
Of
it?
course.
Nothing. So I think I love what you're doing, and we need more of that, of course. Getting all the knowledge from someone that understands the industry in and out, because that's more valuable, right? That's what
I
you
mean,
can actually learn.
let me tell you something. When voice takes over search, it's already kind of there, but it's not
Yeah,
there. When
not yet. Yeah,
voice takes over, if you're not building brand, you're dead. You
yes,
are dead. Because when voice takes over, they give you one result, maybe two. They're
and
not
that's
giving
it.
you 14 pages to scroll through Google.
Absolutely. And talking about that, how do you think hotels should start thinking about what's coming up? Because I see like so many conversations about that, mixed feelings from hoteliers that say, oh no, AI is coming, it's a problem. And it's just like, guys, come on, no one's gonna steal your job. The only person that's gonna steal your job is a marketer that knows how to use AI versus you that you're complaining. So start taking action. So my question to
Only
you is that, how
people,
do you think? Yeah.
listen, the only people that should worry about AI are people that do not invest in themselves.
Yes, fully agree.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if I was an owner, and I know several people that think like this, if I was an owner, I would be investing so much in AI. Yes, I'm going to take some of your jobs. I'm not going to take your job where you're going to be jobless. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make your position so efficient that it's going to free up 3 or 4 hours of your day where you can be even more efficient.
Exactly.
So you're going to be able to do twice the work, half the effort, and we're going to be more efficient and more lean as a company.
Which is fantastic, because that's what you need. You need to stop doing like the repetitive and boring admin thing and use that time more strategically.
Yeah, correct. So here's some tactical moves that if I was a hotel, I would implement immediately, like today. Number one, I would build content pillars like a media company, not like a hotel.
Yes.
You should stop thinking as a hotel, as a destination, as a cruise line. Today, you are a media company. Lifestyle, destination, F&B, social proof, people. This keeps content consistent and balanced.
Yeah.
Number two, video first or you die. Now,
Absolutely.
I am not saying that photography is not needed. I travel with Chris. Chris is one of the top hospitality photographers in the world. And people love his work. They use his work. They need his work. Photos will never die, but videos tell a more complete story. Period. The end. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's not, I don't have to prove it to you. Like, it's proof. Instagram Reels, TikToks, Shorts, those aren't optional. People watch videos 10 times more than they look at photos. If your hotel doesn't have a steady stream of 15 to 60-second videos, you're irrelevant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and another thing I would do is I would turn your staff into creators. Now, that does not mean when I'm checking into a hotel, they're like taking a selfie and that just means they're intelligent enough where they understand content. Your bartender, your concierge, even your GM, your housekeepers, let them create content. People connect with humans, not logos. Now,
100%.
everybody's not going to be down for this, but some are. And what's your downside? Nothing.
Absolutely.
So number 4, stop chasing the wrong influencers and start curating partnerships. Forget about follower counts. Work with creators that align with your brand DNA and deliver measurable ROI.
100%.
And number 5, measure the right metrics.
Oh, yeah.
Saves, shares, DMs, not likes. Engagement that signals intent is all that matters.
Of course, 100%. And I think that's the most important one, because so many times I can see, like, in hospitality, we tend to do actions. Oh yeah, let's work with this influencer. Let's work. And they don't even know like why you need to work with that influencer. The other day I was having this conversation and it says like, why you want to work with this influencer? Because it only has like millions of followers. And then do you even think the audience has the buying power? So it's like you need to understand exactly, it needs to be aligned with your brand DNA, because otherwise it's like, what's the point? You're just giving away rooms for free, and what are you going to get in return? Nothing. So we're not a charity, I'm sorry to say, and we're all about experiences, right? But at the end of the day, it needs to be relevant and measuring the right matrix. That's so important, because otherwise it's so hard to get buy-in, right? If you don't prove. And that's what I think like majority of hotels fall short. It's like I always ask, okay, we do a campaign with this influencer, what do we want it to achieve, how are we going to do it? And then, okay, not only give me the tangible, like the photos, the video, whatever, but also let's measure the success, and then we can understand, was it up to standard, what did we learn out of it, and then we close the loop. Because sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, we work with this influencer, and what?
I mean, listen, hotels that refuse to invest properly in social media marketing, they will not exist in 10 years. That I can promise you. Listen, you're not going to go out of business overnight. That I promise you. But you're losing market share every day. That I can promise you.
100%.
Period. You cannot survive on outdated marketing anymore. If you don't treat your social media pages like your lobby, if you don't treat your TikTok like your concierge, if you don't treat your YouTube like your sales team, you're
You're done.
irrelevant.
Wow. Yeah,
You're very,
absolutely.
very irrelevant. I mean, listen, hotels that refuse to think like media companies are going extinct.
Yeah.
The winners will be the one who publish daily, who merge AI visibility with human storytelling, who use their staff as their strongest influencers. Because if your employees aren't happy coming to work every day, why would your guests?
Absolutely. 100%. Can't agree more. Yes. And I think it's like I've seen so many times, especially like chefs or bartenders or like
Mm,
operational teams are always dealing with
mm,
guests. They are so creative
yeah.
and they love, sharing photos. And the other day, one of the staff told me, "Oh, look at the sunset that I got with this cocktail by the pool." And I was like, wow. So, and they felt very proud. And it's just like, yes, I want you guys to be part of it. It's not just a marketing job. We should be working collaboratively, and also we should also be something that I've done before. It's like I used to have like at least quarterly or monthly trainings with different departments in terms of how to use LinkedIn or how to use Instagram, as a storyteller, because
Mhm.
everything adds up. And I really like your point of using yourself as brand ambassadors, because that's exactly what you need.
Of
And
course. I mean, listen, I did a post this morning. A hotel is nothing but a box.
oh
Some
yes,
boxes are fancier than others. Some boxes have very fancy designs, but it's a box. It's
yes,
what you put in the box, the employees. That's the soul. That's what
absolutely.
makes or breaks you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Because you can have the best architecture, design, whatever, but at the end of the day, the service is not there, then people will not come back. That's it.
At the end of the day, I have a very short definition for hospitality.
Tell me about it.
It's an opportunity. That's it.
Okay.
It's an
That's a great one.
opportunity that a guest is giving you their most precious commodity, their time.
Time, which is the
They're
only
giving
one
you
that
an
doesn't come back.
opportunity. They're giving you an opportunity to create a memorable experience that goes beyond mere service.
Yeah,
They're entrusting you with a chance to shape how they feel, to elevate their comfort, and to exceed their expectations.
exactly. And that's then once you've done that, then of course they're gonna keep coming, and that's how you build loyalty as well. It's amazing.
100%. Yeah.
I think I want to ask you another question that you briefly mentioned TikTok. So I know
Mm.
that we all heard about TikTok, and now you can do booking through TikTok, and there's like a lot of questions around the internet about it. So based on your experience, how do you see TikTok giving an opportunity or affecting or impacting the hospitality industry?
I think it's massive. So I personally have not used TikTok Go, the thing that they just launched for hospitality. But I think every property should test it. Every property should just try. Like you're not going to know unless you try.
Yes.
It go back to something simple. Go back to like when you were a child.
Yeah,
You don't know if you don't like vanilla ice cream until you try vanilla ice cream.
right. Absolutely.
It's
Yes. Common
they
sense.
make things too complicated. Things are not complicated. You don't know if social media doesn't work until you try social media. And doing one post is not trying social media. Sorry,
Yes,
I get all
absolutely.
excited.
No, no, I love it. I love it. That's exactly what we need. And I love talking with passionate people about this, because I mean that's what we need is just to share our experience. And then because I mean for me I'm not on TikTok yet on my properties, but
Oh,
the
really?
reason why we're not there is because I don't have the manpower yet. So I said
Yeah.
instead of having like a new channel where I know that it's gonna be halfway cooked, I'm just like waiting to recruit one more person. So then once I have that person, then we do it all in. But I'm so happy that in one of my resorts I have like amazing team of two guys that they do photos and video. Like it's amazing. So it's very experiential, taking to the next level. So I cannot wait to have another person to step into TikTok and try it. Especially
Yeah.
here in the Maldives, like it's international guests. So yes, we
Sure.
just need to try it, of course. And I think we briefly touch base on AI, but then you also mentioned something about search voice. So what would you suggest that people should start doing? Because something that I noticed, of course, we all know the power of SEO, but then now is GEO as well, which not many people are familiar with it. So based on your experience, how do you see the opportunity moving forward for hotels that wanted to start thinking about AI?
I mean, listen, it's it's going to be the next big thing, okay? Because the actual phone, I mean, in 10 years, nobody's going to have a phone. Everybody's either going to have glasses or something on the side of their head.
Wow.
You know, it's not, phones are going to be obsolete. We're going to look at phones the same way we look at like the flip phone, like the Nokia flip phone, the StarTAC phone from like back in the day.
Yeah.
That is what,
Wow.
you know, I mean, listen, think about this. Like, here's where the opportunity lives. Conversational queries. People just don't say Hotel Miami Luxury. They say, what's the best luxury hotel in Miami with ocean views?
Got it.
That
So
means
long-term
if you're
keywords.
that means if your content and SEO are not optimized for full questions, which nobody's is,
Yes.
and conversational language, you're invisible. Okay.
Yes.
And next, um, local and immediate intent, right? Voice
Mm-hmm.
search skews heavily towards near me, right now queries.
Mm-hmm.
Restaurants, hotels, spas, tours, if your business isn't showing up in these micro moments, you're
Yes.
losing bookings on a daily basis. So,
Amazing.
featured snippets and AI search. Devices like Alexa and Google Assistant and Siri, they often pull featured snippets and or top local results. If you're not optimizing for position 0, you don't even get
Yeah.
mentioned.
Exactly. It's non-existent. And with that said, now, what is your take on organic content versus paid content, like paid ads? Because we're talking about like the importance of creating like long-tail keywords, but do you think that we still be needing to invest in paid ads? Not anymore? What do you think?
No, no, no. Yes, but so yes, and
Yes,
always organic,
for
always
sure.
organic. And then whatever hits with organic, you run ads on it. You tweak it a little bit, you tweak the caption a little bit, and then you run ads on that. But you
Yes,
always do organic first.
absolutely.
And you do 10 reels and 2 does really well. Those are the 2 that you run ads on.
Yeah. And how do you
So
think that, for example, for Google search ads? Because now moving into voice or, like AI generated, do you think that they're going to be predominantly more search queries over paid ads, or you still think that paid ads going to be on top? Um, what's your take on that?
I think it's going to be a combination of both for a while.
Mm, okay.
But I will say you really need to be forward thinking as far as multilingual.
Yes, absolutely.
Travelers are asking questions. Okay, we're in Miami, right? And
Hmm.
obviously people know Miami is very English, Spanish, actually Spanish English. And um but say if you're in Minnesota, say somebody in Spain has to come to Minnesota for a conference, right? When
Yeah,
they search and they're in Barcelona or Madrid searching for something in Minnesota, do you think they're speaking in English to their phone?
of course not.
There you go. Travelers are asking questions in their native languages, and brands that adapt content from multiple language in voice friendly structures will dominate international markets.
That's a massive opportunity. That's
It's
amazing.
So also integration with AI assistance. The future is travelers using AI to plan entire trips
The
by
whole thing,
voice.
absolutely. Oh yeah,
If your brand isn't structured in a way that AI can easily interpret and recommend, you're going to be skipped automatically. Like it's not
yeah,
even a question.
yeah,
And
yeah,
here
yeah.
and here's a big one. Brand discovery versus brand loyalty. Voice search is shifting behavior from searching for a brand to searching for a solution. People don't
Absolutely,
say Hilton near me. They say, what's the best hotels for families near me? That means
absolutely.
you won't win if you don't own the solution narrative, not just the brand keyword. They don't
Yeah.
care if it's a Hilton.
Who cares about the brand? Exactly. No one cares about the brand.
These
Just give me the
days,
solution.
they don't care.
Yeah. No one.
Brand loyalty's gone.
Absolutely.
You
And
got to
that's
be the number one hotel for families near that person.
exactly. And that's something that I was discussing the other day with an agency. I was says, I don't want to spend more money in my brand keywords because I don't. Do you think that people would search for us? And they were trying to justify that. Oh yeah, but you got X amount of money out of this and stuff. I do not care because I wanted to position for long-term keywords. And also something as well that I think, like especially coming from global brands, sometimes it's so hard for global brands to adjust because of course they're like websites are templated, so if you want to change one thing you need to change another one and it has its complexities, right? But I think also the other thing that yes, I think global brands specifically need to adjust is to the language, especially in a destination like this one in the Maldives, that we have at least,
Everything.
I would say, 10 nationalities, you know. Now the
Everything.
question
Yeah.
is, yeah, the question is how then would you approach, for example, social? Because that's even something we were discussing a few weeks ago. Okay, our social now is in English, but we know that we have, like, let's say 5 top different nationalities, and we're not creating content in those languages except for Chinese, that of course we are in red and all that. Now, what would be your suggestion? Do you think that we should start doing, for example, posts where you have the English version and the other languages? Do you think we should have a different account? How you approach that?
So these days, you can target ads to countries, cities, addresses, regions, things like
Yeah,
that. What I would do is I would keep your main strategy in English, but I would run
yeah.
ads locally in the demographics where you get hit often.
Okay,
That's what I would do.
okay.
I would not typically, and listen, I'm all for the two languages, like I love when I go to Mexico and things are in English and Spanish. I understand the psychology behind it. But it it's a double-edged sword because
Yes,
like what language do you put on top? I know English is the
exactly.
dominant one, but like you're always going to have that push and pull. If it was up
Yeah,
to me, if I was running a global brand, my English would be dominant just because you reach more people, but I would run ads in my top 10 destinations in their local language. And I would
yes,
I would run visual, like written ads in their local language, and I
yes,
would have it edited by a local person so you get the phraseology and everything
yeah.
correct. But I would also hire local people to do local videos talking in their local language as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Listen, the line is voice is removing the middleman. You're
yes.
either the answer or you don't exist. Not today,
Yeah,
but very soon.
yes.
And most of the industry is still asleep on this, which makes it one of the biggest underpriced opportunities in hospitality marketing right now. Period. The end.
Wow. Yes. People need to start waking up and start like learning
Yeah,
what's coming up
yeah,
now before it's too late. Yeah.
correct.
I think that's the reason why we're doing these kind of conversations, right? Because it's like there's so much to talk about. And I think it's like sometimes what I notice is like people are so scared about it, or they think that it's difficult, they think that it's hard, that it's like, oh, it's never going to happen. And then when it comes, it's too late. So it's better to take action now rather than wait until it's too late.
I
And
mean,
I think
to be honest, voice search is not 5 years away. It's
oh no,
already driving bookings
happy.
and shaping
Yeah,
brand discovery today.
yeah,
But like, what do you're going to wait for Instagram to get mature and then complain about not growing? Like this is the opportunity. This is
yes.
what you miss with Instagram, but it's a billion times bigger. This is what you miss.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, I think like even though I'm working with global brands, where I think the massive opportunity lays is especially on those independent and boutique hotels, because they have way more flexibility to make things happen, change, versus like global brands that it takes to do a change it on the website could take a year or so.
I don't have a time for you to do a committee meeting and get 15 approvals. Like it's enough
Mm,
already.
exactly. Yes. Make things simple and start moving and adapting. And
Now, the window's wide open, but it's closing every day.
yeah,
Every day it's getting a little bit closer.
yeah, it's crazy. And I think it's like, how do you see websites coming up in the next few years? Because the other day I was reading a couple of posts on LinkedIn, and there was a discussion about, oh yeah, why do I need to spend time on my website if in a couple of years time there's not going to be more websites at all? And I was like, why are you thinking that?
I I am still a big believer in websites. I am still a big believer in I think it's the hub of your digital infrastructure, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think that they'll be obsolete. I do think that their role is changing and it's
Yeah.
changing dramatically, okay? So here's a couple things. AI search and voice search are already killing clicks. People aren't clicking the 10 blue links anymore. They're asking ChatGPT, Google AI, Alexa, Siri. They're getting one answer back. That means websites aren't the first touch point, right?
Yeah.
And they're the back end infrastructure feeding data to AI and voice engines. So websites will shift from a destination to validation. Instead of
Wow.
being the primary discovery tool, websites will become proof of legitimacy. A guest might discover you through AI, social, or voice, but they'll still check your site to confirm you're real, see your
Yeah.
vibe, make sure bookings feel safe. You
Yes.
know, data structure means more than design these days. You know,
Yeah.
speed, mobile optimization, multilingual SEO, these matter more than flashy design. Your
Oh, for
site
sure.
has to be machine readable as much as it gets readable because AI doesn't care about your homepage video. It cares about your structured, your scannability, your authoritative answers. You know,
Yeah.
social and AI as the new front door, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your TikTok, might already get more traffic than your website. And odds are they probably do. Soon, AI driven itineraries and booking engines will bypass websites entirely.
Yeah.
You'll get booked because you show up in an AI recommendation, not because somebody browsed your homepage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. I think
So
there's a lot
websites
of
won't
exciting.
die. They'll just, the way they're going to be used will shift from being front facing marketing to be validation and transaction in a trust hub, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, no, 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 absolutely. And I think it's now is the time to start thinking about it. Okay, how are hotels going to be ahead of the game or
Yeah.
left behind? That's it.
Yeah.
There's no other option. And I think, yeah, well, it's just love it to bring light on these topics. And I think it's like, yeah, do you have any, for example, let's say top three recommendations for boutique hotels or even global hotels that they wanted to start taking their social seriously, and quick wins that they could implement right away?
So, yes. Number one, you need to, I mean, and I can't say this enough, you have to take social media seriously. You have to take it off the back burner and understand that it needs to be your priority moving forward. Okay? Stop investing in brochures and magazine ads and all the garbage that just collects dust that nobody ever reads anyway. You know,
Yes.
I know this one hotel in the Caribbean. They still spend every single month $15,000 to get a full page ad in a magazine because the owner's
Wow.
friend owns it.
Why? What's the ROI behind
It's,
it? What's
I
the
mean,
reason?
like, it's mind blowing.
Wow.
It's mind blowing. I mean, listen, you need to audit your social media as of today. What have I been doing? If you don't know how to do it, hire somebody to do it for you. You need, I do this. And I'm not saying I don't care if you hire me, hire somebody else, hire somebody you know and trust, but hire somebody.
Yeah.
You need to go through it and see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Then you need to create a strategy and actually follow it. You need to be posting daily. You need to be engaging daily. You need to be, listen, and I look at myself, my personal brand, as a company. Okay. I know it is a company, but I look at what I do every day like I'm a Marriott or like I'm a Hilton or like I'm whatever.
Yeah.
So, do you know it's still my goal every day? I engage on 5 new people's posts that I do not follow, they do not follow me, and we do not have any mutual connections on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I find 5 people that are in my industry that I have no connection to at all, and I engage with their content. And I don't
Amazing.
mean I'm putting a thumbs up emoji. I mean, I read their content, I think
Yes.
about it, and put a thoughtful 1 or 2 sentence comment on there every single day, 5 new people. And I include Saturdays and Sundays every single day.
Wow. That's amazing. That's how
And I
you
do that,
grow, right?
and I haven't done it for a while on Instagram, but I did it for many, many years on Instagram as well. And I did it for many, many years on Twitter as well when I was first coming up. It's
Wow.
super important. How else are you
Absolutely.
going to grow? People don't know who you are. So, and
Absolutely.
this is why it's also important. How up to date is your bio? How up to date is your profile picture? How up to date is your just everything? Your digital infrastructure of most hotels suck.
Absolutely
They did it
agree.
the day they opened and they haven't changed it since.
Yes. And you like something that I always discuss is like, the feature stories on Instagram. And it says, I hate to go to a page that it says 150 weeks ago. It's like, come on, guys, can you please keep it up? It's like
Such a joke.
that is nonsense because yeah, exactly. It's like a joke. It's like, come on, guys, that you expect me to book here or what? It's yeah,
It's a joke. If you can't take your marketing seriously, how can you take a guest seriously?
yeah, yeah. No, that's so
That should be the title of this session, this podcast session.
yes, I think so. I love it. I actually love it. That's amazing. Wow, I love this conversation. I think I personally learned a lot, and I love talking with industry leaders and on hot topics. That it's important to bring light to these topics. And yes, and do you have any other recommendation or any other things that we should be covering today that you would like to share with the audience?
I think we covered a lot. I think we covered a lot. I think that we can make this into a video series, and this could be
I
number
think
one.
so. We could
Part
keep
one
talking
of a
forever.
hundred.
I know. It's like amazing. Well, I really appreciate your time, Scott. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So, how can people get in touch with you?
I am easy. I am Mr. Scott Eddy on every platform, and I reply to everything, as you know.
Of
And
course. We've been in
yeah,
touch for a really long time, so I'm really, really happy that we
yeah,
finally
yeah,
made this happen.
yeah. It's been
Finally.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
We need to do
Well,
more.
I
We need
really,
to do more.
yes, absolutely. We need to do more. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
and yes, let's keep in touch. And thanks for everything that you do for this industry to keep teaching everyone what you love and what you do.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.